involvement of INEC by working according to the Electoral Act signed by President Muhammadu Buhari and ensure fairness to all intending political parties for a successful 2023 elections. In the meantime, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has assured Nigerians that results of the 2023 general elections will be collated transparently. The Commission assured that it would continue to upload polling unit results to its viewing portal as it did in Osun and Ekiti governorship elections. It also assured that Nigerians will be involved at every inch of the process in terms of knowing what is going on at the various polling units through its process and procedures. Chairman of INEC, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, said this during the public presentation of Yaga Africa's Watching the Vote reports on the 2022 governorship elections in Ekiti and Osun. Yakubu, who was represented by the National Commissioner and Chairman, Information and Voter Education Committee, Barrister Festus Okoye, said the Commission will continue to upload polling unit results to INEC results viewing portal. Yakubu assured that the Commission would be bold and courageous. The National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, has temporarily suspended the shutdown of the indebted broadcast stations. This was contained in a statement by the Director General of the Commission, Balarabe Ilela. The suspension, according to the statement, was sequel to a follow-up meeting held with executives of the broadcasting organizations of Nigeria, BON, and other critical stakeholders in the industry. It expressed profound appreciation to the Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria, the affected licensees and broadcast stakeholders for the responses and interventions. It specifically thanked Dare Communications Limited and Silverbird TV, Rhythm FM for the responses. The Commission, however, noted that it was not unaware of the difficulties the shutdown must have caused the operators and other stakeholders, and stated that it will always operate within the National Broadcasting Commission Act, Cap N11, Laws of the Federation, 2004. And still to come, Nigeria, Japan signed MOU to commence manufacturing of electric smart automobiles. More news and reports after the break. You're still watching OGTV News, coming to you live from our studios in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital. Business ideas, innovations, and companies thrive better in Ogun State due to the conducive atmosphere created by the government. The chairman, Metal Recycling Industry, Hari Agrawal, said this while appraising his company's performance and activities during a chat with our correspondent. The business mogul also declared that his company would continue to support the government in the area of corporate social responsibility. Sheyi Alao reports.
The vision of the current administration in Ogun State is to create wealth for the people of the state using the vehicle of public-private sector partnership, which has resulted into the influx of new businesses into the state and thriving of the previously existing ones. In a bid to show appreciation to the government for providing an enabling environment for private organizations to excel, the firm opted to give back to the community. Some of corporate social responsibility programs embarked on by the organization include food relief programs, provision of medical facilities and equipment, and amongst others. Speaking with OGTV News Crew, Chairman Metal Recycling Industry, Harry Agrawal, commended the current administration for the ease of doing business policy, adding that his firm share in the concerns of their host communities and will assist in creating a better future for the community.
I had never expected that I'm going to get so much love and respect from the community. Ogun State government, they are staying, it's not that we are asking any help from them, but they are leaving us alone and nobody is disturbing us at all, whether it's a union, environmental, immigration, just like I said. So we are enjoying our stay in Ogun State, so love it here.
Representatives of the communities expressed appreciation to the firm for responding to the needs of their community members.
At the point in our community here, we had no lights, we had no electricity, and we had no transformer. They came to our aid, and by special grace of God, they were able to give us a transformer.
We've started well, and we believe they are not going to stop like that, but we still we have some communities that are still in need of some certain needs.
Problem that we have that has become a very serious challenge for us in the whole of this community is the area of pollution, which is caused by the smoke that is coming out from the company factory on daily basis.
Meanwhile, the managing director of the firm, Mr. Narendra Singh, said the gesture will be extended to neighboring communities.
The Nigerian healthcare sector is plagued by several challenges across the value chain, which subsequently results in the decline of access to effective healthcare. In this special report, Aderonke Adeyemi spoke with respondents on repositioning healthcare delivery through provision of adequately equipped healthcare centers and also incorporating the health insurance scheme and prevent the persistent exit of health workers. Her report.
At a time when people are generally living longer, with a global average life expectancy of 73 years, the average Nigerian will be lucky to attain the age of 60 with a life expectancy of 55 years. This is solely on the inability to effectively address the country's numerous public health challenges that has contributed to the persistent and high level of poverty and weakness of the health system. Political instability, corruption, limited institutional capacity, and an unstable economy are the major factors responsible for the poor development of health services in Nigeria.
It's dangerous now to fall sick because you cannot afford the cost of treatments, even for malaria. These Nigerians are dying without proper healthcare treatments.
The Nigerian sector is not where it should be. Our health indices are quite terrible, very bad in maternal mortality rates, infant mortality rates, under 5 mortality rates. These are the indices you use to check.
And although the introduction of Nigeria Health Insurance Scheme, NHIS, seems like light at the end of the tunnel, the scheme is also bedeviled by inefficiency, inaccurate ideas, and corruption, coupled with medical personnel fleeing for better working conditions.
Well, they're moving for various reasons. Number 1 is security, number 2 is infrastructure, number 3 is increased pay, number 4 is presence of working tools and items.
There are various parts to any health insurance scheme. Number 1, will the people accept it? Do the people trust the system enough to put in their money regularly to fund the healthcare space?
There should be a move to adequately mobilize the totality of its health workforce rather than continue to promote a selective and discriminatory and self-serving professional plans which will only continue to affect healthcare delivery in the country.
It is when Nigeria is good, that is when our health system will do well. You cannot isolate the Nigerian health system for the general milieu.
The walls have come down globally, so so the best thing is for us to step up our training, invest more in education and training of manpower. There will be a sure capital from which we can have healthcare support, healthcare funding, and infrastructure development support fund.
Respondents concluded that government at all levels must create the atmosphere for health reforms, which will focus on maximizing the potentials of its workforce, since healthcare is a globally inclined endeavor driven by international best practice. Aderunke Adeyemi, OGTV News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has ordered the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, to stop crude oil thefts and vandalism in the Niger Delta region and bring all perpetrators of such crimes to justice. The Commandant General of NSCDC, Dr. Ahmed Audi, who stated this at the headquarters of the Corps in Abuja, said the nation's economic mainstay is being pillaged massively by criminal elements. He said the President has ordered the NSCDC to use all means possible to protect the nation's critical assets and infrastructure, warning that any personnel of the Corps who undermines the presidential directive will be severely dealt with. Audi also revealed that a panel of inquiry has been established by the Corps to probe alleged acts of collusion and compromise on the parts of some personnel who were found to have compromised their mandate to arrest all thieves and vandals, asserting that those found wanton will be sanctioned accordingly. Addressing states commandants, zonal commandants, as well as assistant commandant generals and deputy commandant generals at a strategic meeting at the headquarters of the Corps in Abuja, Audi said all hands should be on deck to stop illegal oil bunkering, vandalism, and assaults on the country's critical national assets. He lamented that Nigeria has been losing so much to crude oil theft and vandalization of infrastructures, with the attendant negative economic impact on the country. According to him, about 200 suspects and 300 trucks containing stolen crude oil have been arrested within a year, while the Corps have destroyed over 50 illegal refineries in the Niger Delta region. Nigeria and the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, are to partner to strengthen the supply of oxygen to hospitals in 8 states of the country for the treatment of pneumonia, COVID-19, and other hypoxemia disorders, particularly in newborn babies and pregnant women. The benefiting states are Ogun, Oyo, Kano, Bauchi, Kaduna, Ebonyi, Cross Rivers, and Rivers. The partnership, which is for 18 months, is to be executed by IHS Nigeria, a subsidiary of IHS Towers. A statement by the communications officer, UNICEF Nigeria, Blessing Ejiofor, said the partnership aims to further support the Federal Ministry of Health in meeting demands for effective oxygen therapy in Nigeria. According to her, IHS Nigeria has been a UNICEF partner since 2019, adding that under the new collaboration, oxygen plants would be installed in health facilities and incorporated into specific oxygen resilience plans, including training healthcare workers on the safe administration of oxygen. The UNICEF representative in Nigeria, Peter Hawkins, said the organization values its strong partnership with IHS Nigeria. The monthly Ogun State Environmental Sanitation Exercise for August will hold on Saturday, 27th August, from 7 to 10 in the morning, with no restrictions of movement in all the 20 local government areas of the state. According to a statement by the Minister of Environment, the Permanent Secretary, Engineer Razak Olabode Ojetola, residents are enjoined to use the period of the exercise to clean their homes, surroundings, and drainage channels for onward collection by the private sector participants assigned to their areas. The statement assures that all waste collection vehicles and equipment from Ogun State Waste Management Authority will be on duty to complement the efforts of the PSP in various communities. The Permanent Secretary called on all local government officials and advocacy groups on environmental sanitation to take charge in their locality to ensure smooth running of the exercise. Barring any last-minute change, Nigeria will commence assemblage and manufacturing of environmentally friendly green electric and smart automobiles by 2023. Already, the federal government of Nigeria, through the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, NASENI, has signed a memorandum of understanding with Israeli and Japanese companies for the commencement of the project. Speaking at the occasion, the Israeli ambassador to Nigeria, Michael Freeman, said that the partnership, which was a combination of Israeli, Japanese, and Nigerian technologies, would help address the many challenges affecting the transport and environmental sectors in Nigeria. On his part, the Executive Vice Chairman, NASENI, Professor Muhammad Aruna, commended the collaboration, which he said had come to stay and would be domesticated in the country. Haruna said that the project Nigeria will see to the manufacturing of Nigerian-made electrical vehicles in the nearest future. Justice Ogunremi, Justice Oluremi Oguntoyinbo of Federal High Court 1, Abeokuta, has dismissed a suit by a former All Progressives Congress governorship aspirant, Mr. Biyi Otegbeye, challenging the emergence of the Ogun State Governor, Prince Dapo Abiodun, as the governorship candidate of the All Progressives Congress, APC, for the 2023 elections. The matter came up on the 24th August 2022 for hearing of the preliminary objections and the originating summons. The plaintiff was represented by Mr. Wale Taiwo, SAN, and Professor Yemioke. The first defendant, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, was represented by Damilola Akinduro, while Kende Ogunwumeju, SAN, and Tunde Ahmed Adejumo represented the All Progressives Congress as second defendant, and Professor Taiwo Oshipito represented Prince Dapo Abiodun. When the matter was called, counsel to the plaintiff informed the court that they had filed a motion for discontinuance of the suit as the applicant, Biyi Otegbeye, intended to pursue the remedy elsewhere. Kende Ogunwumeju, SAN, informed the court that the defendants were not opposed to the motion for discontinuance of the suit. He, however, urged the court to dismiss the suit and award costs to the defendants rather than striking out the matter. The court agreed with the counsel to the defendants and subsequently dismissed the suit, and a cost of 100,000 naira was also awarded against the plaintiff. Stakeholders in the advertising sector have commended the initiative behind the change from Advertising Practitioners Council of Nigeria, APCON, to Advertising Regulatory Council of Nigeria, ARCON. The Director General, ARCON, Dr. Olalekan Fadolapo, also highlighted some of the importance attached to the change of name, which transcend also to its functions. Elizabeth Eson gives details.
Advertising Practitioners Council of Nigeria, APCON, started operation in 1990, but was officially inaugurated in January 1988 as a professional body under Act 55 of 1998, now consolidated with amendments and cited as Advertising Practitioners Registration Act, Chapter A7, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2007. Recently, in order to compete favorably among Committee of Nations and also to give the body a true reflection of what it stands for, there was a change in name from APCON to ARCON, which translates as Advertising Regulatory Council of Nigeria.
Yes, you know that the law of, the Act, APCON Act, was enacted in 1988. Between 1988 and today, so many things have changed. The business of advertising, the practice of the business, technology is playing a major role. The game changer, so many things have changed. Advertising itself has unbundled skills coming out of it. These are not covered within the formal law, but now we have powers, we have functions that have been increased in line with the present reality, so we can effectively monitor, control, and regulate the advertising space.
To stakeholders, there is need for changing name and functions to further sanitize the advertising industry.
It has given it wider powers to control and regulate the practice of advertising. And I think it has defined its role and has, stepped in all that it can do in a terrain like Nigeria.
But it also will regulate and strengthen and improve on the quality of advertising practice in Nigeria, the quality of the production that is brought out of the works of advertising agencies.
It's a good starting point to let people realize and sensitize both the public, professional and utilizers of advertising services that it's no longer business as usual. You must do it with professionals.
Yeah, it gives former APCON more powers to regulate the practice, and when the practice is properly regulated, it will bring about more professionalism in all the sectors of media, marketing, communication.
The Director General, ACON, further confirmed that members of APCON are automatically members of ACON as their licenses and certificates are still valid.
The asset and liability, the membership of APCON are now automatically members of ACON. Before now, we were issuing certificates for both the practice and the business, meaning individual and corporate license. So the same licenses are still valid.
ACON vision remains to promote responsible and ethical advertising practice, acting as the conscience of the society and watchdog for the consumers, whilst managing the needs and interests of the stakeholders in Nigeria's advertising industry. Elizabeth Osun, OGTV News.
5 persons have been rescued so far in the rubble of a collapsed building along the Aso 7th Road in Kubwa, Abuja FCT. It was gathered that the building was initially planned to be a plaza. However, the owner converted it to a residential building housing 20 flats and some lock-up shops. An official of the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, who responded shortly after the building collapsed, said the agency immediately alerted other emergency respondents and rescue operations began.
We received a distress call at about 11:45 yesterday about the collapsed building, and we arrived here about 5 minutes to 12. On arrival, we activated our stakeholders and we swung into action. We were able to rescue 5 people alive and took them to the hospital. 2 of them are already out of the hospital.
Some of the site workers contacted by the owner of the building were amongst those rescued from the collapsed building.
I thought they sleep small. More than 1 hour, I can't see sound. Goo, 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 goo. Before I walk out, I don't see doors, don't close everything.
Me and my second we sleep together for one place. So we came out, we see say one roof don't come out. As the roof don't come out, so we see the light from there. As we see the light, so we just trace the light they go. So meanwhile, that time, people just begin to shout for there.
Other eyewitnesses' accounts say earlier there were voices emanating from underneath the rubble, which indicates that people are still trapped. Meanwhile, as at the time of this report, 1 body has been recovered. The body of a Nigerian politician, socialite, and former commissioner in Lagos State, Chief Mrs. Kemi Nelson, has been committed to Mother Earth. The final burial service held at Archbishop Vining Memorial Church Cathedral, Ikeja, Lagos, had in attendance governors of Lagos, Ogun and Plateau states, as well as wife of Ogun State Governor, among other notable dignitaries from far and near, who came to pay their last respect to the deceased Yeye Shewa. Margaret Okunlola reports.
Death is inevitable, as it is a death owed by every mortal. Born on 9th of February 1956, late Chief Mrs. Kemi Nelson, on 17th of July 2022, paid her dues to the august yet compulsory visitor The burial rites kicked off with a Christian wake service attended by the wife of the Ogun State Governor, Mrs. Bamidele Abiodun, royal fathers, commissioners and cabinet members from Lagos State, a one-time deputy governor of Lagos State, Adejoke Orilope Adefulire, lawmakers, dignitaries from far and near, party leaders, political associates of the deceased, faithfuls of the All Progressives Congress, among others. The preacher, Venerable Ebenezer Adewole, challenged all present to learn from the life of the deceased who had strongly imprinted our marks in the sands of time rather than mourn.
You are missing your mother. There's no way you wouldn't miss that courageous woman, that great woman. Please arise, wash yourself, anoint yourself, and then go ahead to do what you believe she would have done if she's still here.
Her final home journey then shifted to Archbishop Vining Memorial Church Cathedral, GRA Ikeja, where her body was received in the presence of top dignitaries, Governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, the Governor and First Lady of Ogun State, Prince Dapo Abiodun and Mrs. Bamidele Abiodun, as well as Governor of Plateau State, Simon Lalong, and his First Lady.
We all come here to celebrate an icon of our time, to celebrate a woman that means so many things to so many people. But more important, a woman that has lived well, that has touched men and women, that has crossed borders, that has impacted meaningfully in the lives of everyone that he has had contact with.
The train thereafter moved to the venue of the reception for the second leg of the event. Late Chief Mrs. Kemi Nelson was Executive Director of the Nigerian Social Insurance Trust Fund and an active chieftain of the All Progressives Congress in Lagos State. Married to Adeyemi Nelson, she was a mother, a grandmother, and various roles to all and sundry. Margaret Okunlola, OGTV News.
He was a renowned geographer who had many publications to his credit. He also won many awards nationally and at the global level. He was the first African president of the International Geographical Union. In 1999, he was the first African to be elected as a foreign associate of the United States National Academy of Sciences. Professor Akilamo Mbugunje died on the 4th of this month. Glimpses this way takes a look at the life and times of this icon.
I was hoping in my address that I was emphasizing that if people are going to interact, there are consequential changes that are involved, both for the individual and for the group, for the world itself. And I use the word structural changes, which I expect would happen both in the developed countries and in the developing.
It was so many things to so many people, to Nigeria and the world at large. Foremost geographer, Professor Mbugunje, is gone. The news filtered in on the 4th of August 2022. Born in Kano, where he started his primary school education, he moved to Makpo Central School, Ibadan, and later to Ibadan Grammar School for his secondary education. He won the Egbe Omo Oduduwa Scholarship to attend the then University College Ibadan, now the University of Ibadan, where he read geography and later taught in the institution. Mbugunje's contribution to education in Nigeria and in many parts of the world remain indelible, especially the leadership positions he held, which include Pro-Chancellor and Chairman of Council, Osun State University, Chairman of Ibadan School of Government and Public Policy, Member, Board of Trustees, Nigerian National Merit Award Endowment Fund, and later, Chairman of the fund. He is survived by many relations, including his daughter, Professor Folashade Ogunshola, and a former Deputy Vice Chancellor at the University of Lagos. May his soul rest.
Pause glimpses, and that takes us to the business segment of the news.
Welcome to the business segment of the news. The National Bureau of Statistics says Nigerians' gross domestic products grew by 3.54% in the second quarter of 2022 on a year-on-year basis. This is contained in a statement issued by the Statistician General of the Federation and Chief Executive Officer, National Bureau of Statistics, Prince Semiu Adeniro, on the Nigerian Gross Domestic Products Report, Quarter 2, 2022 in Abuja. Semiu said in nominal terms, aggregate GDP stood at 45 trillion naira in the second quarter of 2022. According to him, this performance is higher when compared to the second quarter of 2021, which recorded 39.12 trillion naira, indicating a year-on-year nominal growth rate of 15.03%. The Central Bank of Nigeria has released $265 million to airlines operating in the country to settle outstanding ticket sales to check a brewing crisis in the country's aviation sector. A breakdown of the figure indicated that $230 million was released as special foreign exchange intervention, while another $35 million was released through retail Smith's auction. Disclosing this in a statement, the Director of Corporate Communications Department, CBN, Mr. Osita Unwanisobi, said the CBN Governor, Godwin Emefiele, and his team were concerned about the development and what it portends for the sector and travelers as well as the country in the Committee of Nations. Unwanisobi reiterated that the bank was not against any company repatriating its fund from the country, adding that what the bank stood for was an orderly exit for those that might be interested in doing so. Raw Materials Research and Development Council, in partnership with University of Lagos and other stakeholders in the manufacturing sector, have expressed determination to boost the manufacturing sector. In a statement, the council said that it had concluded plans to organize the first international additive conference scheduled to hold in Lagos. Speaking in Lagos, the Director General and Chief Executive Officer of the Council, Professor Hussaini Ibrahim, said the move will showcase the economic potentials of additive manufacturing in the nation's manufacturing sector and its impact on cost reduction in production activities. The Nigerian Export Promotion Council has said that in spite of the challenges faced by farmers and exporters, Nigerian exported products worth 1.77 trillion naira between January and June 2022 to different parts of the world. Executive Director of the NEPC, Dr. Israel Yakusak, stated this in Abuja at a recent press briefing to announce the half-year performance report of the agency as well as the non-oil sector. Yakusak said the country recorded a significant growth in non-oil exports as a total of 4.146 billion metric tons of products worth $2.593 billion were exported between January and June 2022. And that was the business segment of the news. Many thanks for joining us. We now go back to Mujisola for the rest of the news.